Hello and welcome. On today's episode, we take a look at some big stories in our local stars and in multiple scenes. I'm Boom Gonzalez.
And I'm Jaime Escalon. We'll be hearing from the Adamson Lady Falcons on their recent showing in the UAAP Season 88. Plus, we'll hear updates on the opening of the SEA Games 2025. This is Starting Lineup.
Puts it on top and hits it nice and back to
Gold medalist and Olympic champion, Carlo Pamintuan.
The country is buzzing with excitement as our national athletes get set to represent the Philippines at the 2025 Southeast Asian Games. Our buddy, our correspondent, Carlo Pamintuan, is live in Thailand for the latest on our teams. Hey, Carlo, welcome to Starting Lineup. You are currently right now in the thick of practice, I can see. So let's start with talking about our 3x3 teams. Am I right, Carlo?
Hi, Boom. Good afternoon from Bangkok. Our squad, as you can see, is busy preparing for the 3x3 competitions here in the 33rd Southeast Asian Games. It'll be the men's team practicing right now. They will be followed by the women's team. And as you can see, no practice players joined them. So Coach Patrick Fran and team manager Ronnie Magsanak are working with the squad, with the four that we have in Eriobu, Kwame, Sedorifa, and Pasaol. You know, in the first time that the 3x3 competitions were hosted in the SEA Games back in 2019, when it happened in the Philippines won both the men's and women's gold medals. But as of late, in Vietnam and in Cambodia, we have not been able to pick up a single gold medal. So that is the goal now. We need to recover what we lost in 2019. We need to get back to that gold medal. And that is why they're all working so hard to be able to prepare themselves for the two-day competition that will start tomorrow. For our men's team, two of them are coming back from Cambodia. We have Joseph Eriobu and, of course, Sedorifa also returning. They want another crack at it. They know that they can take it all the way with this squad with the current naturalized rules that are a bit more relaxed with the Southeast Asian Games 3x3 competitions. Ange Kwame was allowed to be part of that squad. And then an amazing talent in John Ray Pasaol has joined them. So it should be a fun competition with this squad leading the fight. But for the women's side, who will be practicing a little later on, I think they had a lot more seasoning because they compete together as a team. They have joined the circuit, talking about Mika Cacho, Kay Pingol, Tantoy Ferrer, and Jasmine Hoson. They have a little bit more experience playing 3x3 because they get to travel all over the world in different FIBA circuit competitions, test themselves against the best of the best in the entire world. So now it's time to test what they've experienced, what they have gained against the Southeast Asian circuit. One of them will be coming back from Cambodia to here in Bangkok in Mika Cacho, but the chemistry is certainly on point with that squad already. I think also here is their still recovering teammate, Camille Karin. She's still a bit away from making a comeback in 3x3 competitions, but we're excited also for her return to the half-court game. I was able to talk to Coach Anton Altamirano of the women's squad earlier, and he said that it is so important right now that there's a clear line dividing the women's 5-on-5 team and the women's 3x3 team. Because if you remember in the past editions of the Southeast Asian Games, we will have Afril Bernardino and Jack Animam and Janine Pontejos all competing in both squads. It's not going to happen anymore. Now they get to focus all of their efforts, all of their attention in just one game. Because, you know, it's very different when you play 5-on-5 compared to 3x3. It's a different mindset. It's a different speed. A different conditioning is required. So now that it is split into two, I think the concentration is better, and that should give them a better shot at regaining the gold medal. Now, the experience that we were able to manage going up against international competition should be useful for them. But as Coach Anton said, some of their counterparts from Vietnam specifically also competed in those same international tournaments. So they will also be bringing that experience into this competition. So they know that it's going to be difficult. They know that it's going to be a tough road to the gold, but that is indeed a target for both our Gilas Pilipinas men and women 3x3 squads.
Carlo, we're absolutely excited. We know they play tomorrow, and I know tonight is our opening night for the Southeast Asian Games, and our flag bearer is Brian Bagunas. I know you had a chance to maybe speak to him. Is he excited? Is he surprised, rather, that he will be the flag bearer for the Philippines?
And then give us an update na rin sa Alas Men's, if you have any, Carlo.
Unfortunately, the 3x3 teams right behind me and the women's team will not be able to march in the opening ceremony because nagkataon, no, that their practice time came while our contingent is busy preparing. But we were able to catch up with Brian Bagunas. I actually thought that he met his selection, with a bit of surprise because in the Philippines, as you all know, women's volleyball has reached a pinnacle of Philippine sports. Men's volleyball still has a lot of catching up to do in terms of how close it is or how many fans it actually garners. But the current ability of our squad that they displayed, going up against some of the world's best, fighting as hard as they did, competing as well as they did, and inching close to what would have been not a playoff spot, I think turned a lot of heads. That's why the selection of Brian Bagunas alongside Alex Ayala is surprising but also a little bit expected. Parang oras na, it's time for men's volleyball to really make a dent here in the Southeast Asian Games. We know that it's been a while since we medaled back in 2019 as well. We want to get there. And this is a clear sign that we are completely serious about sending the best possible men's volleyball team that we had. In the current Spikers turf, all of these players were pulled out from their respective teams. So you also have to talk about the sacrifice of those squads parting with their best players, competing with the very best that they can without their top stars, just to allow them to get more time in training, because we've seen the results. I mean, if you keep this team together, they will provide you a good result. And that was the hope coming from Spikers Turf and those squads there, that if they release all of these great players to this Alas Pilipinas team, and they will make us proud here in Bangkok.
Yeah. Carlo, I'm sure it also has something to do with Brian putting on a show for the rest of the world the last time during the World Championships here in Manila. Thank you very much for your stories, and this is just day one of the next couple of weeks. Mag-ingat kayo dyan. We can't wait to hear more from you, and good luck with everything there in Thailand. Maraming salamat, Carlo Pamintuan.
And we go over to some UAAP stories now as we hear from the Adamson Lady Falcons. Stay tuned. You're watching Starting Lineup. Welcome back to Starting Lineup. The Adamson Lady Falcons overcome tough odds to finish their UAAP Season 88 with a Final Four appearance. And here to reminisce the journey are graduating seniors Chris Padilla and Angela Alaba, together with rookie head coach. Well, he's done now with his rookie year in Coach Jed Colonia. First of all, guys, welcome to the show.
And welcome back, Coach.
And congratulations, another Final Four appearance. But Coach Jed, we were talking about this. It wasn't the dream start. You started off 0-3, there were a lot of doubts. Nung 0-3 na kayo, ano na tumatakbo sa isip mo nun? Nakakatulog ko pa ba nun? Is everything okay?
Medyo hirap na, no?
Di tuloy natin magamit on air. Si Coach Jed.
But yeah, medyo shaky start, but it was all boiled down to how we rose over those obstacles and how we rose over those challenges. But, tao lang naman, I'm only human. Siyempre, I felt those emotions as well na malungkot, but you just have to go over it.
Yeah, but it was an adjustment period, and I think everybody knew that about not only you, about the team, but when you look back, what was the toughest part? Other than the emotions, just from a basketball standpoint, was it you adjusting to everything, readjusting back to the UAP, or as napag-usapan natin dito prior to the season, getting to know the girls, all of these things?
Basically, getting to know the girls, how they react to the UAP atmosphere at that, kahit na mga vets na, how they react with the new system and bringing it into the UAAP. So yun yung toughest challenge for me, how I use the players or how I let them be comfortable with the system in the UAAP namin.
Chris, I'm sure, ang adjustment kasi both sides yan, di ba? Meron nga kayong rookie coach, pero lahat kayo, majority kayo veterans eh. So ano din yung adjustment on your end, lalo na madami kayong mga fourth year, third year players?
Para sa amin naman po, hindi naman po like totally naghihirap kami mag-adjust sa sistema ni coach. Kasi nga, marami din po kaming coaches na napagdaanan. Paiba-iba yung coaches. Yung sa amin na lang is, andito kami para maglaro sa Adamson. We're not looking kung sino yung nasa harap namin. Yung kung kami, susundin namin kung sino yung nasa harap namin. Para yun nga, yung aim namin to makapasok sa Final Four. So, sana. Kaso nakat lang siya ng maaga. Thankful pa rin kami.
Okay, so 0-3. You've talked about the struggles. Angela, nung nanalo, yung unang panalo, parang breakthrough win din siya. Especially kasi medyo feel good yung dating. Take us back to that time na nanalo kayo nung yung first game nyo. Anong naaalala mo from that?
Siyempre po, sobrang saya namin. Kasi unang panalo namin yun eh. Parang, that time parang, uy, ayun, nakasungkit na tayo ng isa. Siguro naman, baka dito magtuloy-tuloy na. Pero doon po, parang naging mas nag-boost pa yung energy namin sa training, sa laro, para sa next game po, mas doble pa yung pinapapakita.
Anong nagbago sa naaalala mo dun sa game sa FEU? Because you had some close games dun sa, obviously, coach dun sa 0-3, no? Pero anong nagbago tingin mo dun sa FEU game, which I think nakikita natin on screen kanina?
Yung yung binalik namin yung eagerness namin. Kung paano namin gustong manalo. Yun yung nawala talaga sa amin nung round 1. Tapos bumalik lang din. Dun din po, parang dun talaga yung talaga yung nawala sa amin, yung eagerness namin.
Coach
At
Ned,
saka yung effort po.
Angela, yun nga, di ba? 2-5 first round, and then 5-2
Yes.
in the second round. Iba yung transformation niyo eh.
Yeah.
Kaya tanong ko sa iyo, Coach Jed, ano yung biggest change? Bakit may big change, may gap doon na parang, okay, ready na ba tayo maglaro? Ang laki nung pagbabago eh.
Both from the team and maybe also you.
Actually, the biggest switch up for me was how the players responded to the system, how the players also grasped it already going into the second round. And siguro sa rotational scheme din sa mga coaches, or for us coaches din, you see Kemi healthier.
Yeah.
You see si Eileen Etang at si Cheska Apag, mas nakapana nila ulit from their 3x3 stint going to the 5x5 sa UAAP. So mas nagiging comfy na sila. And the contributions na from the bench, kahit gaano kaliit or gaano kakonting minuto lang, you see the contributions na on a daily, on every game basis na, on a regular, na if I put you in, this is what I'll get. If I put you in, this is what I'll get. So parang nagiging regular na para sa kanila, especially from the bench guys.
Chris, gaano kadali o kahirap yung role mo? At ang dami mong pwedeng sabihin na role ni Chris when you're there already on the court. But ang dami. You can be the energizer, pwedeng ikaw yung nagiging leader, pwedeng ikaw yung, di ba, the pesky defender, pwedeng ikaw yung nag-i-initiate ng mga run. Gaano kadali o hirap yan in your opinion?
For me po, hindi siya mahirap. Kasi lahat ng ginagawa ko, pinagpe-pray ko lahat kay God. Sana Lord, kung may gagawin man ako, makakatulong yun sa team. Which is yung pagbibigay ko ng energy, lalo na sabi nga ni Coach, maingay ka, Pads, gamitin mo yung ingay mo. So, which is yun. So yun yung ginawa ko. Yun yung ginawa ko para, kunwari, like, yung mga laban namin na medyo bumibigay na yung mga bata.
Right.
Parang ako, okay guys, wala pa, hindi pa tapos yung laro, may oras pa, may time pa para bumawi. In a way na, for me, hindi siya mahirap. Parang ano ko na yun eh.
Natural
nature
sa'yo.
ko na yun. Yes po,
Natural sa'yo.
nature ko na po.
Natutulog ka ba, Chris?
Actually po, ang traffic kasi, papunta
Kasi
dito eh.
parang pag di ba, pinapanood kita maglaro, parang hindi natutulog to eh. Ilang kape yung iniinom nito si Chris eh, bago
Coach, medyo mahilig sa kape.
And I say that in a good way. Of course, Coach Jen, and I may, you know this, covering the women na napakatindi ng energy niya.
Angela, 5-2 second round, pero yung big win nyo, yung FEU win. So yun sa pinaka proud si Coach Jed kasi from first round, 1 point lang yung panalo nyo.
Yeah.
Second round, medyo tambak, malaki, di ba? Bakit kaya? In a player's standpoint, bakit ganun yung difference? Ganun kalaki yung difference?
Actually, yung kasi yung wala talaga sa amin yung round 1, yung gigil namin sa depensa Yun yung wala talaga sa amin. Nung sa second round naman, grabe. Believe ako sa teammate ko kasi lahat kami nagsikap talaga yung effort namin. Andun, gigil kami sa depensa. Tapos, di namin iniisip yung opensa talaga namin Iniisip namin yung depensa talaga namin Kasi doon kami nakakuha ng puntos Sabi nga ni Coach, doon kami nakakuha ng puntos. Kaya, doon, nagdoble effort kami doon sa defense. Kaya, yun siguro.
Not to pin it on one player, Coach Jed, pero Kemi struggling with health in that first round. Napakalaking bagay. Kahit sa depensa o opensa, both ways. No? And we're obviously happy to see her normalize no second round. Pero what kind of adjustment was it for you knowing na vital cog, yung medyo unhealthy nung round 1?
Basically, kailangan ko maghugot pa ng iba. Hugutin ko pa yung iba na even si Munoz ko, yung rookie ko, nahugot ko pa ng mapa-extended minutes pa. Vital cog for Kemi kasi both offense and defense, she makes a difference.
Correct.
Kahit tumatayo na siya sa loob, basta she's there, parang iba yung trato sa kanila ng opponents and even yung teammates na parang, doon si Kemi, tinutulungan tayo. So she's such a influencer or parang she has a big influence on what others will do, on what the opponents will do, especially when she's on the floor.
I love that, a new way of using the term influencer, but in the basketball kind of sense. All right, more stories from especially the second round and that run to the Final Four when we come back with the Adamson Lady Falcons. Welcome back. We're still chatting with the Lady Falcons of Adamson here on Starting Lineup, and we continue to kind of assess Season 88. Do you watch some games from Season 87 in the middle of this Season 88, and what's the reasoning behind that, Coach?
In the middle, before...
Well, before I can understand, pero in the middle. And what were you trying to get from that?
Especially sa mga big games namin na andun pa yung key players nila. For example, like Ateneo, UST, and NU. NU not that much kasi more or less nagbago yung scheme nila, nagbago yung set of players. But for Ateneo and UST, it's somehow the same.
Right.
So, tinignan ko yung how good the players were or how they react to certain defenses or to certain schemes, both for our team and for the opponent team. So, that's what I was looking into especially Kalaban Ateneo on how we defend Casey De La Rosa, sila Macanjula, and for UST naman, sila Pastrana. So, I was looking into their games then and how, especially the stepladder final for game last year. So, yun yung pinanood ko and pinanood ko din sa kanila actually before our games.
I'm sure one game boom yung laging pinapanood ni Chris yung overtime game versus Ateneo. Diba, Chris? Sure?
Grabe yun, grabe
You
yun.
mean from last year?
Yes,
From
last
last
year.
definitely,
Pinapanood sa amin ni
definitely.
Coach.
Oh, naman.
Parang nagkaroon kami ng reflection by that time.
Yeah.
Pero yun din yung naging big game.
Yeah.
Coincidentally,
Yes.
nung round number 2 where down kayo, nag-full court press kayo, nanalo kayo for a better chance to the Final Four. Can you describe, kasi some people are calling it sort of this mini rivalry din yung Battle of the Birds. Pero playing in that game, ano yung emotions nung round 2 matchup versus Ateneo?
By that time, parang ang nafe-feel ko that time is, feeling ko mananalo kami. Actually, feeling ko nanalo kami. Pero sabi nga ni Coach, kung salita lang kami, tapos wala sa gawa. Which is, by that time, lapses namin is yung defense namin. So, parang yung individual defense namin nawawala. So, yun na. It's sad to say na hindi namin nakuha. Pero maganda yung laban namin.
Right.
Binigay din namin yung best namin doon.
Gave yourselves a chance, kumbaga. Pero Coach, Angela, bago yung Ateneo game, the other crucial game was the LaSalle game. Yes. Right?
The LaSalle game as well.
Kasi with that LaSalle win, di ba, natanggal yung UP,
Lasal.
dumistensya kayo sa FEU,
Yeah.
and gumanda yung chance nyo against Ateneo. Naging must-win na nga yung Ateneo. So tell me about that. And I know wala si Kyla Go, I
Yeah,
remember.
wala si Kyla Go.
Yeah.
But minsan mas distraction yan. Yung wala yung scorer ng kabila. Anong naalala mo dun sa Lasal game? Kasi mabigat yung Lasal game na panalo nyo.
Yun, naalala ko doon na ano, okay.
Well, hindi yun ang gusto ko. Hindi yun ang gusto ko i-bring up. Ba't ganun ka intense?
Yun yung naalala ko eh.
Yes, the foul.
Okay.
Pero yun nga, ang point ko, napaka-intense nung game na yun because Lasal wanted to win
Both
and
of
then
us.
you wanted to win. So other than the disqualifying foul, ano naaalala mo from the intensity of that
Yung
game?
ano talaga namin eh, yung individual defense namin. Like, sobrang impact nila. Ang laki ng impact ng individual defense namin. Gaya nga sabi ni coach sa amin, hindi talaga tayo mananalo kung hindi natin gusto. Kaya lahat ng mga gusto ng mga bata din eh, gusto manalo eh. Lahat kami gusto manalo, kaya todo talaga yung ginawa namin sa depensa talaga eh. Kaya
Mukha
dun-
nga. Medyo
Wow,
nangibaw.
daming snatcher eh,
Emotion,
yeah.
oo, matindi.
Grabe yung journey niyo, no?
Yeah, ang hirap.
From their
Hirap.
last game. I mean, this entire season, grabe. From the bottom of the roller coaster sa pinaka-peak ng round 2. Pero may viral moment kasi si Chris. Angela, sabi mo nga, pang-viral talaga to si Chris
Viral.
sa social
Viral.
media, di ba? And yung viral moment mo is hinodle mo yung team.
Yeah, it's a prayer.
A prayer. And it was the last time na may ganong moment ka
Yes.
sa UAAP. Can you tell me and Boom about a moment like that na nag-pray ka for
Naiyak
with your team?
Actually po kasi, sa team po kasi, like, ako po yung, parang tinatawag ako sa mga bata, Sister Beth, parang gano'n. Kasi, maano okay, parang mag-pray ako, gano'n. Parang sa team kasi namin, we start with a prayer, we end up with a prayer naman po. By that time, parang for me, kahit hindi yung maganda yun, hindi yun yung gusto nating kunin. But
Katapusan.
thankful pa rin tayo kasi binigyan tayo ni Lord ng magandang run, lalo na this season 88. So parang for me, may last ko na din yun na, pag-pray ko sa team. Parang for me, naiyak ako, sobrang mixed na yung emotion namin. And yun, hindi ko naman alam na may nag-video pala. Basta ako, kung ano yung nararamdaman ko, nilabas ko lang.
Tama yun, natural yun kasi yung viral ka na pinipilit mo maging
Oo,
viral.
tama
lang
yun.
yun. Angela, napapatapik ka sa kanya, napapangiti ka sa kanya, ano yung iniisip mo habang sinasabi niyan? And the memories of this year and Adamson in general para sa'yo?
Kasi nung ano talaga eh, yung round 1, to be honest talaga, sobrang nawalan talaga ako ng pag-asa nun eh. Kasi grabe yung ano namin eh.
Struggles.
Dalawa lang panalo namin, pero grabe pinag-pray ko lang talaga kay Lord kung ano ba talaga plano niya sa amin. Siguro naman, second round, baka may ibang way ka sa amin, Lord. Kaya nung simula nung ganun, parang ang laki ng tiwala ko sa team ulit. Tapos laki ng tiwala ko, Lord, na grabe ka, Lord. Grabe yung way mo para sa amin. Tapos grabe, yun na talaga, nakuha namin yung Final Four, which is, di namin nakuha yung goal namin na mag-third ulit. Pero thankful pa rin po kami na bumalik kami sa Final Four ulit.
So hearing all of this, Coach, and I'm sure there are others, the other players have said things around you guys, and I know hindi pa tapos, meron pa kayong your own meetings. What are your takeaways from this season?
I'm just thankful na. Thankful for the journey, especially sa mga seniors, sa graduating seniors, na it made the job more fruitful and more exciting na parang first year ko pa lang, but it gave me such an experience handling different types of players na. May mga nonchalant, may iba na mga
Tulad
maingay.
si Christian.
Tapos may iba na mainit ng ulo, di ba? It gave me so much of an experience na parang,
Yeah.
uy, biglang, this is the job. This is what you're looking for if you're a coach.
Right.
The experience, the memories, and the journey from a rocky start.
Ups and downs.
From ups and downs. So parang literal roller coaster na from the start na bababa ka tapos biglang akit. So, I'm just thankful na nalagpasan namin. And at that, nagiging bonus pa yung Final Four. Na pagtungtong namin sa Final Four. That's such a bonus, but the truly grateful thing or truly wonderful thing about it was the memories and the journey of it all, especially on my first season as head coach.
While analyzing games on the side. You know, for Jed.
Speaking of analyzing games, really quickly, Coach Jed, briefly, NU versus UST, game number 2. Your thoughts on that matchup? What will it come down to in tomorrow's game?
For me, it would boil down on the next man mentality. Given naman for NU, it's Kayabia, Bingol, Sarada. And for UST, you have Eka Soriano, Ken Pastrana, Oma Nyanwa. But that's a 3 versus 3. Tapat-tapat yan. So who's the next man who'll step up? So I'm looking at, for UST, I'm looking at sila Sherba, Bridget Santos. I'm looking at those girls. And for NU naman, I'm looking at Saisa Pring, Villanueva, Solis, yun. Those are the X factors for me. And for the
Wala kasi
next
sila
guy,
Chris Padilla.
wala. Those girls talaga, the next man or the next girl up for both teams.
That's going to be an interesting series. It's been a great pleasure of ours to cover and watch you guys this season. And we're glad also that everybody came out healthy generally, di ba? And we pray for next season for you, Coach, and your next journey for Chris and Angela. Congratulations. Maraming salamat. Thanks for being here on the show, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you po.
And thank you guys for watching as well. Don't forget to catch the opening ceremony of the 2025 Southeast Asian Games live at 8 p.m. on Pilipinas Live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jaime Escalon.
Gonzalez, this has been Starting Lineup.